Hello and welcome back to Meridian News Now for the first time this fall. I'm Logan Sella. Thank you for joining us. We have a jam-packed show for you today. For today's top story, we go to the Daniels Drain Project. The project continues its ongoing construction to improve the stormwater infrastructure and decrease pollution at Walden Pond, located at 1555 West Pond Drive, number 22 in Okemos. The project is also in response to a petition by Meridian Township residents in 2016 with a resolution to the Township Board to authorize the Township Department of Public Works to begin the special assessment process for the project from their September 21st meeting. Once the water is low enough, it will make it easier for herpetologists to find and remove wildlife such as turtles, frogs, snakes, and other critters from the polluted water and relocate them to another pond down the road at Sparrow Laboratory, which is a part of the same drainage system. Restoration of Walden Pond will begin later this year and in the spring of 2022. Every year starting in October, the Meridian Township Department of Public Works performs hydrant flushing and winterization as part of routine maintenance. The DPW maintains about 2,200 hydrants throughout the township. The main impact of hydrant flushing is discolored water. Here's what residents should do if hydrant flushing is taking place in their neighborhood. Using water during the flush. If you see discolored water, run the cold water taps only. Do not use hot water. Do not do laundry during or shortly after the flush. If laundry appears stained, keep articles wet and rewash. If water pressure is low after flushing, clean faucet screens. A map of the flushing progress can be found on the Meridian Township website. Watch where you step, because the Meridian Township Board passed sidewalk work on subdivisions like Briarwood, Heritage Hills, Ember Oaks, and more. The township sent notices to property owners in the affected areas, and owners must fix the sidewalk within 20 days. Township Director of Public Works Derek Perry spoke about the issue at a township board meeting last month.
People in our community value pathways and sidewalks. Sidewalks are located within the neighborhoods that are not designated as a pathway on the pathway master plan. And the way that we maintain these public sidewalks is through the special assessment process.
Let's hope that no mothers' backs will be broken once these sidewalks are fixed. On September 21st, the Township Board meeting revealed the survey results carried out to the residents of Meridian Township that the Cobalt research community did over the month of August and September. The survey results were recorded and presented to the Township Board members through a 53-page presentation from William St. Amour from the nonprofit Cobalt Research Coalition. The survey focuses on providing feedback based on the priority of needs addressed by the residents chosen to participate in the survey.
So just as a reminder, Cobalt, we are a 501c3 not-for-profit. We're based here in Michigan. We work across the country with communities very much like yours on community planning and other kinds of data issues. Study goals. Really, we wanted to support the budget planning, the strategic planning, and policy decisions that you're looking at. Again, coming in and checking those baseline measures to see how you're doing, to make sure you've got a good distribution of services locked in so you can come back and measure progress in the future. Understand if your presumed service experiences are actually accurate in the eyes of your residents, and look to see which experiences residents have that have the most resonance for them, that are the strongest drivers of outcome behaviors like remaining in the community, the recommending to others, and those types of things.
Major drivers for residents included township services, community image, public works, police services, and transportation infrastructure, with a strong theme of improved and expanded walking and cycling infrastructure, as well as township safety, parks, public schools, and more. For more information about the survey results, you can find the full presentation on our YouTube channel. On October 5th, members of the town board discussed possible plans for the American Rescue funding. Meridian Township will be receiving shortly, with over $4.5 million in funding to spend over the next 5 years. These funds could be allocated, but not limited to, services such as infrastructure, broadband, and roads.
We expect to receive about $4.5 million in American Rescue Plan funding. I believe that you have 4 or 5 years to appropriate and spend those funds. There are some limitations on it. I'm not an expert on exactly what those are, but I know that you can spend it on infrastructure and and broadband, water sewer infrastructure, roads, those sort of things. One of the questions that came up today that I'm looking into is, are you able to allocate that towards parks? But we're going to look into this a whole lot more. We wanted to get through the budget process before we brought this to you, and now we're through the budget process, so we're bringing this to you.
Members of the Township Board concluded that this topic would be brought back at another time. Back in September, the Meridian Township Board passed a resolution to recognize Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th. During the meeting, Treasurer Phil DeShane asked to read the full resolution. Listen to a soundbite from the meeting.
Whereas there's been a long and important presence of Hispanic and Latino Americans in the Charter Township of Meridian, and whereas each year our nation observes National Hispanic Heritage Month from September 15th to October 15th by celebrating the histories, cultures, and contributions of American citizens.
The full resolution can be found on the Meridian Township website. We are still in the twilight of Hispanic Heritage Month. However, National Voter Registration Month has concluded. Not without the hosting of a number of township events to spread information to the public, though. Clerk Deborah Guthrie could be found at each of these events last month, and she even held her own on her birthday, called Coffee with Your Clerk. Here's what she had to say about the importance of the month with our Elena Cugino.
So I've always felt it was important for everybody to be able to have an opinion on a topic, for everybody to be able to walk into the polling booth, or nowadays to vote absentee, and exercise that right and say, this is the person I want to vote for, and this is the millage I'm not voting for, or I am voting for. So I've always just kind of enjoyed the process. And so, you know, when Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson did a resolution for National Voter Registration Month, you know, I felt it was important that Meridian Township do one as well.
Coffee with Your Clerk. I love it. The Township offers voter registration up to Election Day, and more information can be found on display right inside the Township Municipal Building. As you might be aware, deer hunting season is now underway, and so too is the Deer Management Program in Meridian Township. The program, which is utilized to combat deer overpopulation in the township, consists of a deer harvest that began October 1st, spanning 2,340 acres in the township, which are then manned by 82 qualified hunters. I spoke on a Zoom call with Township Senior Parks and Land Management Coordinator Jane Greenway about the program and the difficulties surrounding the overpopulation.
And the situation is that we have so many deer, so many. And then, of course, each of those does have like 2 or 3 babies, and on and on and on. So this has to be an ongoing situation. If you know, the wildlife biologists tell us if you remove all of the deer or coyotes from an area, other ones eventually trickle back in there. So it's a tricky balance to try to work around, but we're doing what we can based on the DNR's advice.
The Deer Management Program will run through January 1st. Last year, 176 deer were harvested across 33 township properties. Let's stay outside, shall we? All October long, local residents can attend the Meridian Township Solar and Sustainable Tour. There are 13 township locations available to visit across the township, including public and residential solar panels, and even 2 different rain gardens that are solar powered. Energy experts as well as homeowners with solar installations spoke about their experiences at the October 2nd Farmers Market, and more information about each of the locations can be found on the Meridian Township website. Meridian Township held its annual Regional Electronics Recycling Day at Chippewa Middle School in Okemos on Saturday, September 18th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Residents in the capital area safely recycled their unwanted electronics. Items that could be brought back were TVs, computers, monitors, printers, and more. Those who had electronics to be recycled were generous with donations to help pay for the cost of electronics recycling. Leroy Harvey, the Meridian Township's Environmental Programs Coordinator, spoke with HOMTV to give us the details on support the event has received from the community.
It's been a successful day in many ways. It's been a pretty smooth flow of traffic. We have about 70 volunteers today, plus some people that just showed up and wanted to help. So, yeah, we really rely on volunteers to make this happen.
For more information on future recycling events in the township, call 517-853-4466 or send an email to recycle@meridian.mi.us. At last week's Meridian Township Board meeting, the Meridian Township Fire Department announced that they had employed 2 new team members to serve the community. Chief Mike Hamill was also present to introduce the new part-time paramedic Anne-Marie Cavalcante to the Township Board, as well as her plans for the future.
Anne-Marie currently works in Dimondale. She came to us a few months ago, went through the process, and really fit the criteria we're looking for in a good employee for now and for the future. She's going to work part-time for us, and we're going to send her to fire training come end of this month. And then our goal, when she gets through that, is to have her start full-time in June.
The new full-time firefighter Joseph Harrison was not able to attend that meeting due to a family emergency, and Chief Hamill spoke on his behalf, welcoming him to the fire department.
Joseph has been with us now for about a week, graduated from Dimondale, and went through the paramedic program at LCC and the Fire Academy, and we're just really happy to have him aboard. He's already fitting in pretty well and very motivated, and again, the right person for the job and who we're looking for as a long-term employee.
Congratulations to both Joseph and Anne-Marie. Welcome aboard. We stay in the fire department. Fire Prevention Week ran from October 3rd to October 9th this year, with the theme being Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety. This year's campaign worked to educate the public about the different sounds that smoke and carbon monoxide alarms make. Meridian Fire Marshal Tavis Milleroff has more.
Hello everyone, my name's Tavis Milleroff. I'm the Fire Marshal with the Meridian Township Fire Department, and this is Fire Prevention Week. And why is it Fire Prevention Week? Because it was on this date so many years ago that the Great Chicago Fire started, when Mrs. O'Leary's cow knocked over the infamous lantern in the barn. That's how they pick the week every year, okay? It's the second week of October typically, and it's the week that we produce a unified message as an industry through a sponsorship with the National Fire Protection Association to get the message out about fire safety to the masses.
Make sure to stay tuned in the future. We will speak again with Fire Marshal Milleroff about the importance of fire prevention in the colder months. A rally for domestic violence awareness was held at the steps of the Michigan State Capitol in downtown Lansing on Friday, October 1st from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. October 1st marks the first day of Domestic Violence Awareness Month. This is the 3rd annual rally against domestic violence, where guest speakers and organizations from all over Michigan were in attendance to provide resources and share success stories of victims overcoming their traumas and getting out of a dangerous situation. 36% of women and 25% of men have experienced domestic violence. Nicole Denson is the CEO of Mosaic Collective LLC and a survivor and advocate for domestic violence. She has been helping other survivors for more than 15 years. Here's what she had to say.
No one is to blame for domestic violence. Okay. And myself being even on either side of that desk, I know that we need more resources here in Michigan. We need legislation, our representatives to hear us, give more grant dollars, and to make sure that our movement is for everyone.
If you or a loved one are facing domestic violence, you can contact the End of Violent Encounters hotline at 517-372-5572 or dial 911 for immediate assistance. Another rally involving women and people of all genders also gathered at the Capitol, this time to march for abortion rights. Our own Elena Kuzno has the full story.
The Capitol building was packed on Saturday, October 2nd for the March for Abortion Justice rally hosted by My Body, My Choice. The event had speakers including Senator Debbie Stabenow, State Representative Sarah Anthony, and more. After the speakers came the march, where signs were displayed and people shouted, "My Body." But Michigan was not the only state to have an abortion justice rally.
More than 600 gatherings like the one we see here in Lansing are happening throughout the United States. They follow Texas's anti-abortion bill, which bans abortions after 6 weeks and was passed last month.
Community organizer Chelsea Julian said this issue is not new in Michigan.
It's important because we actually have a law from 1931 in the state of Michigan that it makes performing an abortion a felony, and it's only deemed, it's only enacted right now because of Roe v. Wade. So if that gets overturned, it could be enforced. And so, especially here in Michigan, we are really at risk for our rights being taken, essentially.
The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services reported that in 2020, there were around 29,000 induced abortions. And some people attending the rally, like Kim Huvener, were there to offer support.
I just pray for everyone that women have our rights back. Keep our rights. This is our body. my body, it's my choice, you know, and it's their body and their choice. That's all.
While some people opposed to abortion rallied across the street, attendees of the event hoped politicians and those in power would hear their voices as they marched. In Lansing, Elena Cugino, HOMTV.
The Supreme Court is still hearing cases about abortion, and Roe v. Wade has not been overturned. On October 9th, the American Cancer Society put together the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer Walk, sponsored by Avalon, Q1061, T-Mobile, and more. A crowd of people gathered in front of the Lansing Capitol building to participate in a walk for the cure for breast cancer. The event provided donuts, coffee, and pizza for its participants, as well as providing entertainment such as Zumba and a dance performance. Though the event is over, you can still contribute by making a donation at the Making Strides of Lansing website. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention's Michigan chapter held their Out of Darkness Suicide Prevention Walk in downtown Lansing on Sunday, September 26th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The event took place at Adado Riverfront Park across from Lansing Community College to support any and everybody who struggles with mental health or has lost someone to suicide. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, and one of the goals of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is to reduce the national suicide rate by 20% by 2025. Liz Baker, the chair for Out of Darkness, was present at the event. Here's what she had to say.
The biggest takeaway for people is that they walk out of this event with a big sense of hope, and hope that, you know, this is temporary, that their pain is temporary, that you know, there are things and resources out there to help you, and that you don't have to struggle alone.
More than 1,000 people came to walk in different parts of downtown Lansing to bring awareness to the community's attention. Sponsors of the events waited along the different paths and motivated those who walked to keep going and pushing forward. If you know anyone that is suffering from the loss or someone or to suicide or is suicidal, contact the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-8255 or visit the website below. The Meridian Township Park Commission and the Friends of Historic Meridian held the dedication ceremony at the Meridian Historical Village to honor the memory of John Grettenberger Sr. on Saturday, September 18th. The ceremony began at 10:30 a.m. and was open to the community to remember John, who had passed away last year battling cancer. He was 82 years old. John was also the vice president of GM and a general manager of the Cadillac Motor Car Division. John's family and friends gave testimonials at the Village Chapel. Jane Rose, the former executive director of Meridian Historical Village, knew John and his family and told HOMTV how she'll remember him.
He's missed, certainly, and he will be missed by many for a long time. He brought things to life for people. And as I said, he was a joy and delight to work with and to get to know. And I'm going to miss that level of enthusiasm.
A small reception was held after the ceremony with refreshments outside the Meridian Historical Village. John's memory will live on in his family, friends, and the community of Meridian Township. On October 2nd, the Friends of Historic Meridian hosted their annual Blue and Gray event featuring themed exhibits from the early 19th century and reenactment of Civil War battles at the Meridian Historical Village between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. The event showcased an array of exhibits demonstrating the life of civilians and military soldiers during the Civil War from the different aspects of the average civilian life during that historical period.
Hi, I'm Doug McComas. I'm the captain of the 7th Michigan Company B. We're a reenactment unit. We represent an actual unit of the Civil War that was raised primarily out of Mason, Michigan. We have a range of activities that are going to take place today and tomorrow. That includes we are inviting the public to drill with us, and we'll show period drill, period cooking, weaponry, uniforms, and we will have a couple of small skirmishes, interactions over the course of the day. We try to represent and portray that period, both when you as public are here and in many cases when you're not.
The Blue and Gray brought together reenactors from the 102nd U.S. and Colored Troops 7th Michigan Volunteer Company B and Texas Infantry with different parts of the event scheduled for at various times for the public to get involved in.
It's really important for them to learn about all forms of history, and my husband is a 5th grade teacher, and so we try really hard to make sure that there is accurate information, right, and that they get to learn hands-on. And there's no better way to do that than locally and meet people who are passionate about teaching others, and this is a great venue for that.
There was a church service where visitors were able to march with the soldiers at the end of the day, in addition to a barn dance for all in attendance. Visit the Friends for Historic Meridian webpage for more information about volunteer opportunities and events at the Meridian Historical Village. On Saturday, September 19th, Music and Nature concert series concluded at the Harris Nature Center. The Harris Nature Center and Harris Nature Foundation were able to bring back the concert series this summer after a pause in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The community was invited to see a Michigan-born and raised singer Monty Pride perform at the new pavilion at the center. Musical performances in the past took place at the Gathering Circle, but now will be held under the pavilion to accommodate more people. Here's what Katie Adams had to say about the event.
We're very excited that we were able to have this opportunity to bring music and nature back. It's the perfect outdoor activity where people can feel safe to be outside, and it was just a relief to be able to provide this kind of entertainment for people again.
If you missed Music and Nature this year, don't worry. They'll be holding it again in the summer of 2022. High Caliber Karting and Entertainment hosted the first annual Meridian Motor Fest on Saturday, September 4th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. The event was sponsored by the Meridian Economic Development Corporation with the purpose to raise money for charity, with the proceeds going towards Meridian Cares. Our Cortland Jenkins was on the scene to give us all the details from everything that took place. Let's watch.
High Caliber Karting and Entertainment hosted their first annual Meridian Motor Fest on Saturday, September 4th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. The event was open to the public and sponsored by the Meridian Economic Development Corporation. A variety of different cars were on display, from modern vehicles, most modified, as well as old school cars from the 60s. HOMTV spoke with Jordan Munsters, the president of High Caliber, on what the goal and purpose was for hosting this event.
This is the first one. I just checked with the guys. We had about 175 cars show up this first year, which is wonderful for a first year. Usually you start to see them double year after year for many years. Hopefully someday I'll be able to fill up this mall, because all the proceeds to this is going to Meridian Cares. We're going to pick out a charity every year, and we're all going to raise money to help the proceeds going to them.
There were different levels of competition, including car limbo with no limitations in size to compete, as well as the loudest exhaust measured 20 feet from the tailpipe, loudest fireball, and loudest stereo. All the winners of the competition were rewarded with a trophy, and Munsters tells us how he feels about the support this event has received from the community.
It's pretty awesome to see everybody get together again. I just had one of the girls came up and hugged me that was in the limbo contest and said, that was the most fun I've had in 2 years. That's what we're about at High Caliber, is getting people to have fun and creating joy, and that's connecting people, and that's what we're doing out here, and everybody's a part of that. So I'm thankful that we just have such an awesome community for this.
In Okemos, Cortland Jenkins, HOMTV.
High Caliber plans on hosting this event in the future, and someday Munsters hopes to expand this event to fill the Meridian Mall. Due to the success of the first Meridian Motor Fest, High Caliber Karting President Jordan Munsters presented Meridian Cares with a check for $1,583.
Thank you for the donation. It will help dozens of families this year through the winter season. And also thank you for your multi-million-dollar investment and expansion into High Caliber Karting. You are making a big difference in the revitalization of the mall in this whole region. So thank you for that investment as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
The Meridian Cares Fund helps people throughout the township struggling for basic needs like food, housing, and health care. To learn more about Meridian Cares, visit meridian.mi.us. Staying in the fast lane, High Caliber Karting and Entertainment held their expansion ceremony with fire, games, and more on September 18th. The indoor entertainment facility gained 25,000 square feet of new space, making them one of the largest indoor family entertainment centers in the world. With the expansion, High Caliber installed the double clutch sports bar, throw bowling, archery and Nerf tag, axe throwing, and more. Outside, they featured a fire juggler and eater, booths giving away free Monster energy drinks and ice cream, and even a monster truck.
I get these crazy ideas, and I always tell everybody it's like I run through and I bulldoze everything over and I leave this wake of destruction, but all these wonderful people, they come behind, they pick it up, they put it together, because we all have the same goal, is to improve this area and make people connect. And I'd be a complete failure if it wasn't for everybody. I mean, I would be a miserable failure if it wasn't for all of these people who just, they care. And so to everybody that's watching this, that was involved in this, like, thank you.
With 32 beers on tap and artwork from inside from about 60 local artists and lots of activities, High Caliber President Jordan Munster said they have a place for all ages. Man, does that look like fun. High Caliber Karting and Entertainment is located inside the Meridian Mall. Demolition of the former Burger King in Meridian Township began in July in order to make room for a Buddy's Pizza location. The new Okemos location is part of Buddy's Pizza expansion plan. The Burger King occupied only 4,500 square feet of space, but Buddy's will occupy a little over 7,000 square feet. Labor was delayed due to contractors being booked, but has since moved forward. Buddy's is anticipating construction will be complete by early 2022, and they are looking to hire 100 positions for the Okemos location. The revitalization of the Hazlitt Marathon has also been underway in 2021. The renovated building will feature new gas pumps, as well as an upgraded 6,622 square foot facility, which will include options for takeout food services on site. The exterior of the building has been completed. There are no new updates at this time, but we will keep you updated as the situation develops. Time to get a little spooky. As Halloween approaches, Meridian Township has announced a number of family-friendly activities for all ages. The following Halloween events will take place throughout the month of October. Spooktacular adventures take place at the Marketplace on Green on Wednesday, October 20th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Halloween at the Meridian Dog Parks is on Tuesday, October 26th and Wednesday, October 27th from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Police Department Halloween Open House is on Saturday, October 30th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. In the Meridian Historical Village, treats and tours will also be on Saturday, October 30th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. In addition to those events, trick-or-treating in Meridian will be held on Sunday, October 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. More information about these events can be found on the Meridian Township website. With that, we'll end today's episode of Meridian News Now. Remember, you can stay up to date with Township News by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and of course, HOMTV.net. I'm Logan Sella. Thanks for watching and have a great day.